Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can see you.
Perfect. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Harlie Williams, and I am the health advocacy intern for this fall internship. My mentor was Miss Sarita, and she introduced me to newborn screening, which is what my project is about. But first, I'm going to introduce myself. So, I am from Tampa, Florida. I'm a theater performance major at a performing arts high school here. And in college, I plan to pursue political science, public policy, and public health. I'm not entirely sure like what exactly I'm going to be doing, but I do know that I love community service and advocating for others. Just a little bit more about me. I'm in the Tampa Mayor's Youth Corps, and I think that this is especially important when you want to advocate for people, when you have access to public officials. Um, and for me, like an example is I have access to the city council and the mayor, Jane Castor. And right now I'm really excited because I am in the works of working with the local Tampa parks. There's a new project where they're like putting $20 million into parks, and I'm drafting proposals to have accessible swings at that new park for children with disabilities. And I'm president of Key Club, so that's community service. A little bit about like health is I do blood drives at the school. So I've led two so far. I have three more this year, and that's kind of where I have like health advocacy in my daily life. When it comes down to school, I like boosted blood donations, and so I just like students to understand the importance of community health and helping others. And also, pretty much where I got my love for advocacy was when I was 10. My little brother was born with Trisomy 18. He was born in 2016. And a little bit about like his journey. It's kind of similar to a lot of patients with Trisomy 18. Doctors tend to discriminate, and there's not a lot of research surrounding Trisomy 18, so they will tell like um, parents to abort their children. And that's kind of in pop culture right now. I was really surprised to see there's a case about it. Um, but it's kind of sad because there's a lot of misinformation surrounding it. So, um, I think with my internship and which I'll talk about in the next slide, it can help people realize there's like resources out there. But just a little more about him. With the doctors, like they kind of deny care because they're like, oh, they're gonna die anyways. But that's not the truth because my brother's 7 years old. Okay. Oh, and if you want to learn more about him, he's also featured on Special Books by Special Kids, which is a YouTube channel led by Chris Ulmer. He's a disability advocate, and my brother was featured on his channel for about a year. Okay, so into my project, I did a Trisomy 18 newborn screening participation survey. And the question is, what is newborn screening? I thought it was funny with the quote saying like almost everyone everywhere because when I first started this, I did not know what newborn screening was, and Miss Sarita introduced me to that. And I was looking on the website, and I was like, wow, this is actually very useful. People should know about it. So, newborn screening is identifying conditions that can help like patients in the long run. So, for example, my brother did not receive newborn screening. And I think that when you identify these conditions early on, it's preventative healthcare and um, it helps like the advancement of that child so that you can identify the problem and find solutions as quick as possible. And there is a recommended uniform screening panel that the Department of Health and Human Services recommends, and it's about 35 on the list. Not all of them are here. Um, but like my brother right now, he had the heart disease. He had a hole in his heart, but we didn't know about that until like later. So when he was 3, he got open heart surgery. Okay, and so why am I doing this Trisomy 18 newborn screening participation survey is to investigate the disparities in receiving newborn screening and the potential consequences of its absence. Because a lot of times like I said earlier, doctors will just tell the parents to, abort their child. And so they kind of, they don't want any, they take a hands-off approach, not telling families about the resources that's out there. So when a child with trisomy 18 is born, they're not really focused on things like newborn screening. They're focused on telling them to not feed them, like they told my brother, or don't put them in an incubator. So the goal is to just really investigate like where those disparities lie. And the audience, of course, is families whose children have been diagnosed with trisomy 18. And just kind of going more into this, I talked about education, making sure that families know about newborn screening and preventative health care, but also research and legislation. Having surveys and collecting data is really important because research drives politicians. No politician, like you can tell politicians, oh, my child is sick, but they don't care. They want to see evidence. So that's why research is very important. So these are the questions that were asked on my survey. One, just basic information. Where do you live? What year was your child born? And then asking how was the trisomy 18 diagnosis confirmed? Most of the time it's before the child is born. Um, and also asking people, are they familiar with newborn screening? Because some people don't even know what it is. And also asking, did they receive that newborn screening? And then kind of getting to the nitty gritty, this is kind of asking more about the parents' perception of newborn screening. So pretty much, do you think that newborn screening has been helpful? Because when you identify newborn screening, when you identify these conditions early on, that could be helpful because you can try to um, you can prevent um, diagnosis. All right. And then the next question is, in your opinion, has newborn screening influenced how doctors provide care to your child? So sometimes when parents are more educated and they know about newborn screening, they know about the conditions that their child has, and doctors will tend to take a step back and be like, oh, this person knows what they're talking about. But if they don't know, if they didn't receive newborn screening and they don't know every single option that they have, then doctors will tend to sometimes just try to take the safe way out and say, no, I don't think we should give this person care. Like the doctor told my mom, we can't give him open heart surgery because there's just like no point. But there is a point. And next one is, does your child have any of the following conditions? So going back to that recommended universal screening panel, I listed all of the conditions on the survey. And lastly, I asked for their name and email. It's completely optional, but I do plan to reach out to the parents and families, depending on what data I get back. Mm, there we go. Wait, okay. So I just wanted to highlight some of the questions that I did. So this question is, did your child receive newborn screening? And I'm not necessarily focused on the questions, but the formatting. So for this one, I wanted to highlight the fact that I added I do not know on there because some people, they don't know if they got newborn screening or not because it's like you're in the hospital, you're just so many people are telling you so many different things. You don't know if you got newborn screening. It might have got lost in the file. So that's a very important aspect of the question there. And then these two questions are you familiar with newborn screening? And then if yes, how did you learn about it? So I thought this one was important because rather than just having that blanket question, are you familiar with it? It also adds a resource for you to go ahead and hit multiple checkboxes. And then the other is there so you could say what organization, or if it's not something listed there, you can say where you found out about newborn screening. And then question 9 and 10, in your opinion, has newborn screening influenced how doctors provide care to your child? And then please tell us how. So once again, just having that blanket yes, no, my child didn't receive it. but then giving the families the option to tell us their story. And this is kind of where, along with the data, but this is kind of where I'll decide if I want to reach out to these families, because sometimes families will kind of tell something that doesn't have to do with newborn screening. But once again, the question is regarding newborn screening. So I'll look at that and find some keywords. Like I just gave an example on there, kind of like the doctor halted, the lack of knowledge surrounding conditions prompted a halt in healthcare decisions, and my doctor was slow to respond. So I might highlight that as neglect. Or some people might have a different experience and think, I think my doctor was a little racist. So there might be some keywords that I can try to like, and patterns that I can find when I get these responses. And the challenges with this, definitely the language, because I'm in high school, I've been like constantly like writing. So sometimes I tend to write words that are kind of bigger, but it's from like a health literacy standpoint. So this has to be like understandable for patients. And when they're going through what they're going through with their families, they don't want to have to like read through the survey and like, what? So this is the language, and I'll go back to like even with this question, are you familiar with newborn screening? When I first did it, it was, are you familiar with the concept of newborn screening? But we just had to shorten some words because there's no need for it. And also, an important part about changing your language for surveys is because you want to have accurate data. So, if one family doesn't know what a certain word means, they may not understand exactly what that question is asking. And so, they might give you the wrong answer. So, it's important to kind of just keep it short and concise so that we can have accurate data. And another challenge is the reviewing process. I thought that it was going to be like super fast, like, okay, I made a survey and now it's going to go out and then I'm going to interview people and then this is going to happen. But no, it takes a lot of reviews, because when you're giving it out to people and when you're doing research, you want to make sure that everything is correct. So I did an initial review with Miss Rita and we tried to change the language. And then we did another review with the board and with newborn screening partners. And now we have an essay. I mean, not an essay, a survey. But unfortunately, we cannot send that survey out right now because of the timing, and it's the holiday season. So we're going to send that out in January. And what I hope to capture with this project is once again, just with the questions, did they participate in newborn screening? Did they know about it? Can we detect patterns? This is more so like maybe for the scientists, like and the doctors. Do children with trisomy 18 more than likely have like heart conditions? Because that can help them. Research is what really drives healthcare. And also healthcare response. So like I said, that like essay is going to really help me identify keywords. And so, like I said, back to the January, we're going to share the survey in January on social media. We're going to push it through the Trisomy 18 Coalition. We're going to share it with the newborn screening partners, support groups, and wherever else we can. And then in February, we're going to review that data, try to find something out of it. And also, I am going to plan to to conduct interviews for participants. And then March is National Trisomy 18 Awareness Month, and March 18th is National Trisomy 18 Awareness Day. So March is the perfect time to share that data, and how we plan to do that is through community workshops, continued research, as well as media, through social media platforms. And the reason I put news outlets and articles and journals is specifically because of like that court case in Texas right now. I think it's a perfect opportunity to get the name of Trisomy 18 out. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed this internship. I'm so grateful. It's really helped me solidify my love for advocacy and wanting to pursue public health and being an advocate. And I'm so thankful to Miss Rita as well. Thank you.